Hello everyone, welcome to another Tech Tuesday. So recently I've been getting a lot of questions and requests to talk about the gradebook and putting grades from Schoology into our new PowerTeacher Pro and how to even set that up. Let me just say that it's kind of a complicated process, but you only have to do it once a semester. So right now in this kind of Tech Tuesday, in this video, I'm going to take you through creating categories within Schoology and then creating those same categories in PowerSchool and then mapping them together so that you can sync your assignments from Schoology to PowerSchool. It's very important that you map your categories in Schoology, otherwise it will not let you sync from Schoology to PowerTeacher. So I'm going to make sure that I have both Schoology and PowerTeacher open in two different tabs, and I'm going to go ahead and go to my class that I want to set up my grades for. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go to Gradebook, and then to make my categories, I'm going to go to Grade Setup. Now, I have already created all of my categories here, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to create one that says Discussion. I've weighted my categories. That's a whole nother video all in itself right now. I just want to get you set up, and you can end up weighting them later on. I'm simply going to just press this Add button right here, and I'm going to go ahead and put in whatever topic I want. So that's going to be discussion. I always calculate mine by total points, but you do have the option to calculate it by percent. And I do have to give it a weight just right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just give it a weight for right now. This would not pop up if you did not weight yours already. So I just want you to be aware of that. And I'm going to go ahead and click Create. I need to make sure that whatever categories I have in Schoology, there's my discussion right there, I also need to have it in the new PowerTeacher. It doesn't matter which one you create it in first, just make sure that they are in both. Now, if you wanted to make these categories and the weights, and you have not done this for any other class, you can copy the settings over into your other classes. Just make sure you do everything in one class first before you copy the settings. Otherwise, you might get duplicate categories. So I'm going to go ahead and go to PowerTeacher now. So this is the main page on PowerTeacher. And I'm going to click this Create button here and create that same category. And I'm going to call it Discussions, just like I did in Schoology. I'm going to select the classes I want it for. Let's just say I want it in this first class for right now. And in that class right there. I'm going to give it a color if I want to give it a color. Let's go ahead and make this red. And I'm going to make sure that it's active. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save. So I'm going to just make sure that all of my categories are there, both in Schoology and in PowerTeacher Pro. Now I have to map those categories in Schoology. I'm going to go ahead and go back to Schoology. And in order to map those categories, and again, you only have to do this once a semester, I'm going to go ahead and go to the PowerSchool button in Schoology that's on the left-hand side of the page. When I click on that, normally it's going to give me all of my assignments that I can sync to PowerSchool, but if you haven't configured anything yet, you're going to have to click Configuration. When you click Configuration, it's going to show you all of your different categories as well as all the PowerSchool categories, and you just have to match. Now, I only used 4 categories in Schoology to begin with, and I did not need to map it to every single category in PowerTeacher, but now I have this new discussion one. See how I made that? That one wasn't there before until I made it. So now I just need to make sure I'm mapping that. I'm going to literally match it up. Discussion goes to discussion, assignments and quizzes went to assignments in my book, my writing task went to my writing task, and I'm going to go ahead and save changes. I'm going to do that for all of my categories, and then once I do that, I'm ready to start syncing my grades over. I can go to Sync Grades, and I can pick the assignments that I want to sync, and I can just click the Sync button. It shows you which ones have already been synced and the last time you synced it, and I can sync the ones when I'm done grading them to go over to PowerSchool. One important thing to note is that Schoology and PowerSchool is a one-way street. If you are grading things in Schoology and you put them into PowerSchool, It's going to only go one way. You cannot put things in PowerSchool and have them go into Schoology. So if you have to make a change to a grade that was in Schoology and now is in PowerSchool, you have to change it in Schoology first, resync the assignment, and then it would go back to PowerTeacher. Okay? So it can't go the other way. The best thing for you to do is eventually in the future, you're going to want to pick one way. Right now, I do all of my grading in Schoology just so I can put them all in PowerSchool, even if it's a physical assignment, like a paper assignment. I'll just put it in Schoology and enter in the grade manually. You might want to only use PowerTeacher if you don't use Schoology right now, and that's fine. Or you might want to use a mix of both. Just be aware that if you use a mix of both, you grade some things in Schoology and sync them over, and then some things in PowerTeacher, that the grades are going to be very different in Schoology and PowerTeacher. Just let your students know that at the end of the day, PowerTeacher is where the report card comes from, so they should be checking that in the end. If you have any other questions, make sure you email me, and if you have any requests, make sure you email me. And that, in a nutshell, is the grading system and mapping categories on Schoology and PowerTeacher.